Hey there, this is your girl Candace Duff coming at you all the way live from sunny South Florida. And we're here in week 6. Can you believe it? Week 6 of the pantry challenge. And this week I decided to do something different. This week I'm running out of stuff. I have meat left in the freezer, but I didn't take it out in time to defrost it before I had to cook it and make this video. So what I decided to do was something different altogether. What I decided to do was to use some of my hurricane provisions. And in my hurricane provisions, in my hurricane prep provisions, because I'm in South Florida, I have some canned meat. I have some turkey. I have other stuff too, but I have some turkey from Keystone, which I got online. So I got some turkey from Keystone. And I also have some of this Members Mark chicken. And so I decided to make dishes of this. And knowing me, I'm not going to eat the food if it's not good, right? So I went ahead and I made special dishes with these. I made a lentil turkey soup because remember I had to use some of those lentils I had, some of those green lentils that I took out on the first day of the pantry challenge. So I made some lentil turkey soup. And then I also made some baked chicken taquitos. And typically you would use pre-shredded chicken, like a rotisserie chicken or something like that from Costco or whatever. I didn't have more of that in the refrigerator, so I went ahead and I used some of the canned chicken. I used 2 cans of chicken to make these chicken taquitos. And I gotta tell you something, they were darned good. They were damn good. So both of these dishes were delicious. I enjoyed them over several days over the past week, and I really enjoyed them. And I think because the mindset that I had was that if you're gonna use, like, canned chicken, what really makes canned chicken kinda bad is sometimes the texture, and sometimes it can come out kinda dry, right? Even though it's in some sort of liquid here or whatever, you don't wanna use that liquid. And you typically, wanna you wanna surround it with something that's kinda saucy. So, putting it in soup was one of my ideas for making it, for dealing with that dry texture that you sometimes get with, canned meats. And then smothering it in, for example, cream cheese. I had to look at the recipe. I'm like, "What did I smother it in?" Smothering it in 8 ounces of cream cheese. I mean, how could you go wrong? Even if you have canned chicken, if you have it in the middle of cream cheese and, other green chilies and other seasonings or whatever inside a tortilla, like, how bad could it be? And in fact, it wasn't bad at all. It was really good. So, without further ado, let's get cooking. Okay, so I'm making a new recipe, and I have some of this Members Mark canned chicken, and I always wondered, like, so we have to have, like, canned goods for hurricanes and stuff, and so I bought canned chicken, and I'm like, "What are we supposed to do with this canned chicken?" So, I'm gonna make baked chicken taquitos, basically, and I figured that would be a good use for the canned chicken, and I gotta say, this is better looking canned chicken than I've seen. I mean, I've seen others and it's looked, not so great, but this is not so bad. Okay, so I'm pulling this out the can, and I think I have a little bit more than I'm supposed to. It's supposed to be, well, 3 cups. This is about 3 cups, so yeah, I'm measuring with my heart. And what I'm doing is shredding it because nobody wants big old chunks of canned chicken in your mouths. I mean, you might, but I don't. So I am shredding it. Now, you would normally do this with your rotisserie chicken. For this particular recipe, I'm doing it with canned chicken because I have it and I need to use it. So why not? And I would probably prefer to use canned chicken for something like this rather than, like, say, chicken salad because since I'm not used to eating chicken this way, I think I would prefer, rotisserie chicken in my chicken salad or cooked chicken that I made, myself rather than canned chicken. Okay, so I pretty much de-chunked it, if that's a term. And in here is supposed to go 1 cup of shredded cheese. And you should have seen me up in here shredding the cheddar using a grater. All right. Also, 1 can of chopped green chilies. That's not happening. Some seasonings. And what am I missing? Oh, 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. So I put this cream cheese in the microwave and I nuked it for like, I don't know, a little bit under 30 seconds, and it's pretty soft. And that's like a full pack of cream cheese. And what I'm doing now is I'm mixing this in, but I'm supposed to add seasonings too. And those seasonings include a half a teaspoon of cumin. I'm assuming it's half a teaspoon. Let me double check. Yes, okay. Cumin, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. All right, so that's in there. Now, if I could just get everything I spilled on the counter back in the bowl. All right, and then I'm going to mix this up. And I'm using a fork. I don't know why. Because I started off with a fork. I don't know. All right, so that looks like I really did mix it well. Okay, and now I'm supposed to put this in 12 tortillas, which I don't think I have 12 tortillas. I think I only have 8. So let's see that. So I'm supposed to spread about a quarter cup of the chicken mixture from end to end in the center of a tortilla. End to end, really? And then roll the tortilla around the mixture. And then repeat until they're all rolled. And then I'm supposed to brush half of the oil on a large baking sheet. Let's say, instead of me brushing oil on a baking sheet, I actually spray some avocado oil. Okay. And then, let's say, I basically roll these bad boys on here. Okay. So now I have some Ole, what do you call these things? Tortillas. And they're kind of thin, so they're kind of breaking, which is highly annoying. But okay, I need to taco sized. All right, and here I have a quarter cup measure. I can never see if you can see. Okay, quarter cup measure. So I'm going to put that in here, and I'm going to spread it end to end because I'm actually going to try to follow the directions, which is unusual for me, I must say. Okay, I'm not going to make you watch me wrap all of these. And now that I've done this, sort of, I'm going to roll these bad boys just like they told me to. Roll. All right. And then I'm going to put this thing on the baking sheet. All right. This is really funny because I was actually watching I look at way too many Instagram videos, all kinds of videos, actually, way too many. Anyway, I was watching some reels, and there was some restaurant owner who I don't even know. I don't know if they were the owner or not. I think they were, who was talking about hiring an employee that used to be in another type of business. And whatever they were doing was requiring her to like measure out food in very specific quantities with her hands. And you could tell, I mean, it looked like she had done like, been one of those people in one of those rooms, that had to measure out drugs. It was hysterical. The way she was like measuring it and rolling something out, I was crying. Because he was like, your skills transferring from your former employment. I was like, wow. I mean, she really did look like she was, measuring out some drugs, rolling it up. She was like extremely efficient. She was the fastest chick in that room. I was crying. And I doubt she even knows. He put it all on Instagram saying that, which is, hysterical. The craziest things amuse me, what can I tell you? Hey, if you can't laugh, what are you doing, right? You have to be able to laugh. Okay. So I'm gonna roll up the rest of these taquitos, and then we're gonna stick these bad boys in the oven. I'm gonna come back to you. Okay? All right. So as you can see, I cooked them maybe slightly too long. And I ran out of rolls, so I actually made two smaller ones as well. But this is gonna be my dinner. So what I'm gonna do is take two of these, because that's a serving. And because when I tasted the filling, I thought it was good, but it was kind of lacking a little bit of moisture because I'm using canned chicken and we know that could be a little drying. It suggested that I might want to put some sour cream on top, which I love sour cream, so that is not a hard show. And it mentioned drizzling it, but obviously this is in solid form, so I'm gonna put the sour cream on top. And then I'm gonna cut myself a piece and give it a taste. Mm, that is tasty. Mm. But everything is tasty with melted cheese and sour cream. Mm. I think you'll enjoy this. Now, you could have it with pico de gallo on top. If I was to do this over again, it's supposed to have jalapenos inside. What I would do is use maybe some green salsa, a little bit, just to give it a little bit more moisture inside. But with the melted cheese, I don't feel any lack of moisture. Okay, I'm gonna pack these up for lunch over the course of the week. And then to warm these up, I'll probably put them in the air fryer because they might be like a little tiny bit soggy. And then the air fryer will crisp them right back up with a little bit of oil, and I'll be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy my dinner. But here are my taquitos, okay? And this serving right here has 29 grams of protein, 535 calories, 33 grams of carbs. And this probably has less because I used like carb-friendly tortillas. So that's where we are. All right. Okay, so today I'm making a turkey lentil soup. And I decided that this week's theme, for the most part, it's going to be canned meat. Because I bought like all this canned meat for like hurricane prep, and I've never cooked with it. So I'm trying to see how it works out. So here I have some seasonings, and including these seasonings are margarine, salt, pepper, and not margarine, but marjoram to seasoning, salt, pepper, and paprika. And I'm just basically cooking down the spices a little bit, blending them. I don't want to burn them to make sure you can taste the flavor in the soup. Now I'm supposed to have celery. I'm out of celery. I might add a little celery powder, a little tiny bit, if I can find it in my cabinet. Celery seed. All right. Now I'm gonna add the chicken. And this chicken I'm using, it's not chicken, it's turkey. The turkey I'm using is this Keystone turkey, which I have a cans of turkey in my cabinet below, and I have chicken, I have turkey, and I have beef. And I have never cooked with this Keystone turkey before, but it gets good reviews. And so I'm gonna give it a chance in this soup. And I'm figuring if there's any way to make sure that this meat is moist and not dry like some canned meats can be. The best thing that I could do would be to put it in a soup or a stew where there's gonna be lots of liquid. That's just a weird guess on my part. We'll see. And what I'm trying to do is break this up. All right, so I broke it up. And now I'm gonna add in my carrots. It only calls for 1 carrot, but I put in 2 because I like it like that. And I like the taste of carrots. All right. And now I'm gonna get the lentils. Mm. That I have soaked all night. And I'm gonna put the lentils in here. So it was 2 cups of lentils initially. And it looks like a lot more because the lentils have swollen up from being soaked. Now, you don't actually have to soak lentils, but I was trained to soak lentils or to soak any kind of bean. And so I did. And when I say trained, I mean by like Food Network and all those cooking shows I used to watch. So, because my mother didn't really cook lentils that much. I don't know if she ever cooked lentils for us. She cooks like Southern and Caribbean food and some Italian, but she didn't really cook like vegetarian dishes or, and if she made a curry, it's more like a Jamaican curry. All right. Although this is not vegetarian because it's a turkey and lentil soup, and it's supposed to be that way. Okay. And now I'm going to add in the canned tomatoes that the recipe calls for. And I'm also going to add in the 6 cups of broth. Now, I don't have chicken broth. I have to actually make some more out of some bones I found in the freezer. But in the meantime, I do have beef broth. And the recipe says that it's flexible. It says you can use either vegetable, beef, or chicken broth. So I'm going to use this beef bone broth that I have. And each one of these 2-cup containers has like 17 ounces of protein in them. So this is actually a really high protein soup between the lentils, the broth, and the turkey. And this is going to be 8 servings, which is probably going to be a lot of food for each serving. Can already see. Okay, so now what I'm supposed to do is bring this to a boil and simmer it from anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. And it says I should stir it every like 10 minutes to make sure that it smells good. I think it's a beef broth. To make sure that nothing is burning on the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna cover this bad boy. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil and then I'm gonna turn it down to simmer and come here like every 10 minutes over the next hour and stir. And I'll bring you back. Okay. Okay. So I tasted the soup And the carrots are cooked. The lentils are soft, but the soup doesn't taste like much. So what I'm going to do here is put in some base, beef broth base from Better Than Bouillon to give it some flavor. And I'm also going to add some additional seasonings. I'm just turning this up a little bit because it tasted kind of watery to be honest, which I don't know. I mean, you would think that beef bone broth would have more flavor, but apparently not as much as I thought. So I did that, and I'm going to do my usual and add in some, you guessed it, wood fire garlic kinders because I know this has some flavor. And I'm going to be kind of careful because it also has some salt. And I just put more of that beef broth base in here. So let me see what this tastes like before I go crazy. All right, so let me see. Give myself a little taste of this. It's hot. Mm-hmm. That's better. All of a sudden, it has a taste. Okay. Now, the turkey meat, it's almost like a seasoning. It's a little stringy, but I think I probably should have thrown it in here. I thought about this after I watched the the video that I first shot of me starting to cook this. I thought to myself, I really should have thrown that turkey in toward the end because it is fully cooked. But luckily, it doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste like hard or way overcooked. One of the other things I'm going to do is to put a little bit of acid in here. And I'm going to do that with the tiniest bit of plastic lemon, like a tiniest bit, just to give it a little tiny bit of acid, to give it a look. And believe it or not, I think that might be it. I think that might be everything I need to give this a little bit of flavor, or a lot of flavor, actually. That gave me a disproportionate amount of flavor. All right. We'll taste it one more time and make sure it's to my liking. It feels like a nice warming pot of soup. All right, let's see now. Mixing it in. Mm-hmm. Now that's good. That is comforting. The lemon just lifted it right up. It's warming, it's comforting, it's tasty. Mm. And it tastes like something now. It has a taste like in the back of my throat. This is good. All right. So give this a try. And what I got to say about canned meat is that it's not my favorite, but it's definitely not bad. And if you want to have protein to add to, some soup or some stews or curry or something, as long as it has liquid around it, it's not going to be dry. And in the soup, it's actually pretty good. It doesn't taste like much on its own, but if you season it up well, if you surround it with good ingredients like the lentils and the veggies and some seasoning, you can actually do something good with it. I'm gonna have wonderful soup. This is like 8 servings. So I think I'll put like 4 servings away and freeze it and put 4 servings in the fridge. So I can have it over the course of the week. All right, y'all. And there you have it. It was a very tasty week. I mean, I made other dishes, dishes that you've seen me make before, for breakfast and stuff. But I really did go ahead and make these two special dishes for the pantry challenge. Because in my mind, what's the use of having these, hurricane preparedness meats or whatever if you're not going to use them? And you need to like put them into the flow of what you're going to actually cook so that they don't go bad. These had no chance of going bad. But also I needed to know how to cook them. So it was a good experiment. It was actually very positive and it worked out. I might actually try to use some of the Keystone beef in next week's recipes. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I get the meat out of the freezer sooner that's in my freezer and defrosted so that I can use some of that fresh meat also in my cooking. All right. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and make a comment below. I'd love to know, are you doing the challenge too? What did you make this week? Are you running into difficulties? Have you gone over your budget? I have already gone over my budget. So we'll talk about that, especially in the last video about, how I found the challenge, lessons that I'm learning or what have you. But yeah, I mean, tell me what's going on in your life and in your challenge below in the comments. And give me ideas about what to make. I have like ground turkey left. I have, some chicken left. I think I have some white fish left, like codfish in the freezer. I still have some vegan dishes. I haven't even tried like TVP to make dishes with TVP yet. So there's some vegan dishes I have yet to make. So we'll see. All right. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a wonderful week.